I think I have to switch mics. This one looks like the battery is dying. Is this thing turned off? Oh, wonderful. Okay, we'll try this mic. Hopefully it works. All right. I'm going to call this equation 1 and this equation 2. Substitution or elimination, do we have a variable already by itself? Yes. So substitution makes a lot of sense. Wow. Wow. That was scary. There we go.
Put emphasis on sense.
Okay. We're good. There's a fine line between setting the volume on here so that it doesn't, like, every time, if we were really quiet, you hear it coming out of there? That's a speaker, but it's kind of useless and kind of annoying if I was talking here and you heard me from over there. It'd be a little weird, okay? But if I don't have the volume up a little bit, then the recordings don't have very good volume online. Oh, stressful. Balancing. Okay, so I think we're good for volume. But we can substitute in because I can take equation 2 and where the y is, I can substitute in 1/3 x squared minus 3. So after I substitute in, I look, oh, what kind of equation do I have? I have a quadratic equation. So I'll want to make one side equal to 0 and try to combine all of my like terms. And when making one side equal to 0, I like to order it so my x squared is first. Are you okay if I write the x squared there? And then my x second, so plus x. And I have a minus 3 on the left side. I'm going to bring this 3 over. You see that when you bring this 3 over, you add 3 to both sides. And adding that 3 makes 0. So I'm just left with 1/3 x squared plus x equals 0. If you have fractions and you are solving, you have a choice. You can either just keep working with the fractions, or you can choose to multiply so your equation doesn't have fractions. And a lot of people like that. I'll show you that. I take this whole thing, and if I multiply by 3, can you see that that would get rid of that fraction? Because 3 times 1/3 would just be 1. 3 times the x would be 3x. And 3 times the 0 would still be 0. So if you multiply one side by 3, I have to multiply the other side by 3. So I put brackets around the whole thing and said I'm multiplying everything by 3. Gets rid of that fraction. Now how do we solve quadratic equations? You can complete the square, quadratic formula, factor. This one factors really easily because there's a common factor of x you can take out. And then I can split it here and either x is equal to 0 or x is equal to -3. And whichever ones I find, I still have to find y for both of these. Okay? But the fact that I found 2 x values, if we think of this, can you see that equation 1 is a parabola? And that parabola would open up. Okay? Can you see that equation 2 is a line? It has one x and one y. Could you rearrange this line by moving the x over? Probably no problem. Do you see that that line has a negative slope? This is what's happening. Does it make sense that we have 2 solutions? Could it be possible that they never intersect? Right? We could be working on a question and be like, Mr. Jared, what's happening here? I got that 7 is equal to 12. And you'd be like a little bit confused because should 7 equal 12? No. But sometimes you do all the work and you end up with like, what does this mean if 7 equals 12? Well, that'll mean that they don't intersect, like something's wrong. There is no solution because something went horribly wrong. But in our case, we got values for x, and we can use either equation. And I like the 0 because the mental math with 0 is really easy. Can you see if you plug in 0 for x into either one, you get y is minus 3. And some people like to plug it into both just to make sure that they know they've got it right. So y is equal to negative 3. If I plug in minus 3 in for x, well, minus 3 would be plus 3. Minus 3 will be 0. So then I get y equals 0. And we always write our solutions. Okay, it's very important that, like, the 0 of x has to go with the minus 3. Don't mix them up. They're totally different points then. And when x was minus 3, y was 0. It's just coincidence that it turned out nice like that, where everything was flipped. All right, so we can circle questions 3 and 5, which we can do later on the whiteboard.